Penn State lands their first pure started at the position defensive lineman in the class of 2023. I'm your host, Thomas Frank Carr, here in T. Frank's Film Room. We're taking a look at four-star edge defender Jameial Lyons from Roman Catholic Academy. We'll take a look at what he is as a football player from a physical perspective, from a technique perspective, and give you a projection to what he is at the next level with some player comps, because I think he's got a pretty clear profile there, and then explain the learning curve he needs to get to a place where he is an impact player with the Nittany Lions. All that coming up on T. Frank's Film Room, and as always, giving you the inside information. But most importantly, right now, what you need to know is sign up for BlueWhiteIllustrated.com, because you get 12 months of access and insider information to this knowledge even before I'm telling you here on YouTube. So I always tell you, subscribe to YouTube, hit the notification button so you don't miss when a commitment happens and the film room drops. But if you want to be ahead of the curve, if you want to have the inside track, our recruiting insider, Ryan Snyder, is the best in the business. He gets all this information and gives it to our premium subscribers before anyone else has it. So sign up for 12 months of access for just $1. The price of everything is going up, and this will eventually, because we can't keep giving it away. But if you sign up now, it's locked in for a year at $1. So you get a full recruiting cycle, a full 2022 season, and the offseason, and spring football. Think about this in 2023. Where you'll be, how much money you've saved, you will thank yourself if you sign up right now for just $1 to get that year of access. Okay, so let's meet Jameial Lyons, the four-star lineman, 6'4", 255 pounds, plays edge defender for Roman Catholic in Philadelphia. He is the 244th player in the nation, so he's a part of the On 300 of the 300 best players in the nation. He is the 31st defensive lineman and the 4th overall player in the state of Pennsylvania, so the Nittany Lions keeping a high-priority Pennsylvania target in the state. Always an important thing for the Nittany Lions, but most importantly, in a very talented region for 2023 at the edge defender position, and then nationally at the defensive line, where Penn State is in with a lot of these players. They get a, I think, underrated player that maybe fans don't know about as much. If he's not a national prospect, he's definitely got the skills to be one. As we said, 6'4", 255 pounds, and not just a good. He is an elite run defender. He is a guy that I don't think translates well. I think this skill makes him a difference maker at the next level, because 255 pounds, he's big enough to do this in the college football already, and the way he disengages, his pad level, his arm length, the way he can stack and shed, these are exceptional skills. And it is consistent. It's in every single game. It's the majority of his highlight tape. And then when you put on his full games, this is what he does. He is an elite run defender with skills that translate to the next level, because you can see here on film, he is long and strong. He actually developed pretty early in his career, according to Ryan Snyder, where he was a big player in his sophomore season. And the projection was he might be a defensive tackle, but he kind of leveled out, 255 pounds. He's maintained that with this size, and that's really important, because when you're naturally a guy that holds weight well and you're naturally 255 pounds, you're not pushing the limits of your body. You're just there. So the thickness, the strength, the power, it is legitimate. And with that profile of 255 pounds heading into his senior season, once he gets into a college weightlifting program, Penn State can turn him into kind of whatever they want. If they want him to be 270 and be a throwback defensive end on the strong side, he can do that. If they want him to play at the weight he is now, 250, 255, I think he can lean out and he can be a really impactful football player, especially as a run defender with 33-plus inch arms. So he's clearly over the threshold of elite length. And that natural power and size in his body makes him a high-level recruit. That's the majority, to me, of what makes him a four-star player and one of the 300 best players in the country, is his size and his clear application of his size and strength as a run defender. But what makes him fun, and what I think makes it a likely projection that eventually he'll be a good football player in college, is the level of effort with which he plays. I actually didn't even put some of the plays on film because he's hustling so hard and getting into so many plays. He kind of hurts a couple players, and I don't want to put high school athletes injured on film. But you can see the desire to get to the football. Doesn't matter if he's on the backside of the play. Doesn't matter if he's the pitch man or the dive man. He's finding the football. And I don't think that this is dirty. I don't think hits like this are bad. I think he's just trying very hard to make a play. So at the high school football level, I don't know that he's going to be sealing off the edge on a read option and then getting the dive player. I think, as players get more explosive, if his teammates are not making the play, that's going to be a problem. But you can see on the high school level how much he's trying to get to the football, his awareness to get there, and then, I think just the care. And that's where, we don't know any of these players personally, but you try to pick up on little cues about what they are and who they are based on the way they play football. And I just think Jameial Lyons really wants to be good. I think he really is trying his hardest on the football field to make an impact. And at his size, he physically makes an actual impact. Now, when we go to more of the physical profile, not only is he that size and not only does he have that power, but he's a good athlete because you can see here his ability to get up in the air and bat passes. This is another thing that's pretty uncommon for a high school football player to not only have this size and this vertical ability. I think he tests pretty well in the vertical for a combine or any sort of physical testing, but he's able to get his hands on the football. He affects plays. He sealed this game versus LaSalle with an interception. And this, again, like his run defense, this shows up in a lot of different places of not just seeing the ball and knowing that there's a quick pass coming, but then actually getting his hands on the football. With that length, he's making it an impact on the football field. And I really like that because it shows athleticism and it shows football intelligence. So we've checked off two things when it comes to subtle abilities to be good at football. Again, that's what's building the sort of high-profile and really talented player that Penn State prioritized in this cycle, despite there being a lot of really talented, high-priority players at this position. Now, if there's one area that I think makes him underrated, or maybe makes me a little bit concerned about his translation to the next level, it's his pass rushing ability, because I've spoken glowingly about his physical abilities so far, but the impact as a pass rusher does not show up. Part of that is the quick passing game. Teams are aware of him. They're double teaming him, but you should still have a plan. And I don't feel like on most plays, Lyons has a plan. And you'll see that he doesn't really use his hands very well. So that combination kind of blunts what should be a high-impact football player. It doesn't matter where he's rushing from, interior or on the edge. I don't see the same impact I'd like because a lot of this is running around the edge, trying to be bigger, faster, stronger, sort of a typical high school defensive end, truthfully. Instead of somebody who has a plan, they're using their hands, they're effectively using what I think he could be an exceptional bull rusher. And even on his highlight film and some of his best plays, these sacks are coming from the quarterback running into the sack or a mistake by the offensive lineman. Very rarely is it that he's using skill and technique to get to the quarterback. Now, this one right here is one of his best ones where he actually gets a swim move and he gets a holding call and makes a major impact on a key third down. So he has the capability to do it. He clearly has the length, the power. I think he could be a multi-dimensional rusher with that bull rush, and then with some speed to the outside, a very good first step to threaten the edge where he can then come back inside and use that long arm technique that defensive ends really like when they have that length and power. And it's, again, I'm going to come back to this, it's natural power. I think he still has room to grow, so he is, I don't want to say unnaturally, I want naturally strong. So all these things can translate well. Now, on the physical side, to kind of round out the profile, I don't know that he's going to be a Adafe Owe, Shaka Toney, Adisa Isaac sort of electric pass rusher. He's not the Arnold Ebiketie that gets to the corner and bends and is unblockable. I don't know that he has that electric first step. To me, he's more of a Yetur Gross-Matos, where he's got good speed for his size, and his size is significant, but he uses fluidity, power, and eventually good technique to be unblockable or to be very hard to hold off the edge. So not the complete package, but there's more than one way to win as an edge rusher, and he's got enough speed and a good first step, and all of these things are good on film, but Penn State's had so many freaks at the defensive end position that it just has to be said that, of the freak scale, he's somewhere in the upper half, but not at the top. So that's just more of a characterization of his abilities, but there's more than enough here on film to show that he could be an impact player as long as he has a plan and skill and technique that John Scott Jr. imparts to him, and he picks that up at the next level, which is why the effort to see that on film, that's why that's important, because to me, he's not lacking the care to be good at football. He's lacking right now the attention to detail. So the last part that I want to show you is kind of hard to show anyway, but it's going to get into some of the nitty-gritty of what we talked about with pad level, inconsistent use of his length, but these are even kind of bad examples of that, because when you are inconsistent, nothing happens. You don't make a play. You don't get into the play. So some of the ones that I think cued me onto this the most, we're not going to show you here. These are more event examples of him doing improper things. And you see right here, a shorter offensive tackle in the situation gets underneath him. You can see he's standing straight up in this position. All that length and power is completely negated. He's on the backside of this play, so he's kind of in a read and react situation anyway. But if you're Jameial Lyons and you have the talent you have, any play is a go-get-him play. He should be able to dump this offensive lineman pretty quickly and move to the quarterback. And in this situation, these are sort of the inconsistencies of the pad level and the hand usage. He puts a lot of forearm shivers like this into the breastplate of a lot of offensive linemen instead of engaging with his hands out and then controlling the situation. The good news is you see that on film as a run defender, so he can do it. And the question then becomes, and it's an open-ended question, is he dealing with a hand injury or some sort of injury on his arm where he can't do that consistently, and this is kind of an adaptation? I don't know that, so this is just, we're pointing this out and bringing all these things up to show you the inconsistencies in his game that I think, again, blunt his ability to make an impact. And once again, you see here, running into the offensive lineman, trying to overwhelm them with his speed and power combination. But what happens is he's standing straight up, vertical, with the offensive lineman in his chest, and he still knocks him back a couple yards, but does not get to the football, doesn't make a major impact. And then you see here as a run defender, same thing. The offensive lineman gets into his chest. He has the outside situation here with his hands on the shoulders instead of inside and controlling. Is there an injury? Is there something going on? I don't know, but he's still so strong and so naturally gifted that he's able to hold his position with bad technique. And here, just another situation of he should have been able to get pressure on that play. He was blocked by a running back. So the inconsistency in those areas, he's got to use that effort and that desire and translate that into the details. I think that's the biggest thing for Jameial Lyons. And if you can do that stuff this offseason, this summer, heading into a senior season, and show a little bit more of a plan and a little more maturity and technical advancement in the way he uses his hands and he disengages, then I think he rises up most recruiting services. The more impact he makes, the more sacks he gets, the more unblockable he is, the more it's clear how talented he is at the game of football. And those things can come without question. There's nothing holding Jameial Lyons back, just experience, maturity, and focusing on the details. So I think for Penn State, they're getting an underrated player in the class of 2023 that can grow and develop into one of those impact players their senior season, like you've seen in the class of 2022. So that'll do it for Jameial Lyons. Is there anything we missed? Make sure you comment on the video to give us your thoughts on Jameial Lyons and what he is as a football player. I'm your host, Thomas Frank Carr for T. Frank's Film Room. Again, make sure you subscribe to BlueWhiteIllustrated.com and here on YouTube. Hit the notification button so you don't miss the next commit in T. Frank's Film Room.